pretty nasty, all in all. So got the Dyson out, the Bissell, give these a good cleaning. Then I'm going to hit this with the hose really good, try to find all the locations of the potential leaks. Then Scotch-Brite the tub, or part of it anyway, and then set it up for Herculiner. All right, so these two are done. Look much better than they did. The sand in that one is ridiculous. I actually picked this up from a guy in Virginia Beach. They must have taken it on the beach multiple times because no matter how much you vacuum that, it does not come out. And actually the dry vacuum has sand attached to it because of static. It's just crazy, and no matter how much you go over it, it just doesn't ever go away. So next is to clean up the inside, and then I'll probably get the hose out and start the water test. All right, so I have my girlfriend out there spraying with the hose, and you can see the water dripping down there. So it's definitely coming from my cowl, which is going to be a nightmare to fix, but at least I know. And I don't have any leaks in my windshield, so I guess having one leak is better than having two. So that's going to be a fun job. So yesterday, to try to find the leak in the rear, I had a hose sitting up top spraying towards the back, and when I came inside it was like a faucet in here, and it was coming out of this hole and this slit right here, and right up there is the taillight. So when I took the taillight off, the gasket behind here was completely shot. So I was going to order another gasket, but I wanted to try something first. I took this off, sorry I didn't film it, and I stuck gasket maker where the gasket goes around this whole thing. It goes around the screws and it goes across the top and the bottom and then around there. So I put quite a bit of gasket maker on there. I fit it up to the Jeep, and then I pulled it away, and none of the gasket maker was actually making contact up here at all. So all the water would have still went behind here. So at that point, I just decided to find out if this was really my problem, which I'm assuming it is. And as you can see, I put gasket maker all the way around the tail light. Now, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get off, but it's not going to be impossible. And if that is in fact the problem, the next time the bulb goes out, I am going to try to get a new one and see if the new seal might work. But that seal is going to have to be pretty thick, because like I said, even when I put gasket maker on the back of this really thick and connected this to the back of the hatch, it still did not make contact. And that's where all the water's coming in from up top, I'm assuming. So I'm going to let that dry overnight, and then I'm going to spray this whole thing down again. Make sure that I don't have any leaks in this area, or that it's coming down. Somebody posted on their video that their hatch leaks back in here, and that there's a wider gap on one side than the other. I've got the same problem, so that could also be an issue. I need to find that out. I don't think I have leaks here, because I did check my felt that is a cover behind here on the inside, and it was never wet from any kind of rain or anything like that. So I don't think I have that problem in the windows, but I'm going to go ahead and hose this down really good and find out if I've solved the problem or not. All right, so fast forward quite a bit through the next day. I was filming kind of a how-to on doing the cowl and completely forgot to film for my regular video. So this is where I'm at. I've got my tools out here, and I've spent most of the day, other than putting together a video, opening up my cowl. You can see I've got the sheet metal pulled back there. I've already siliconed inside. I'm going to have a how-to how I did that in another video. So the towels are there because I literally had to lay across the whole hood in order to reach my arm back far enough to get silicone around the whole thing. But that's where I'm at right now. I just cleaned up a little bit because my next step is to start wire wheeling and Scotch-Briting the inside of my floor pan here. Some of the POR from the last time I did this held and some didn't. I don't know what happened, but anyway, now that it's completely dry in here, I'm going to go ahead and wire wheel this, prep this for Herculiner. I know Raptor liner would be a lot better, but since it's going underneath the carpet and I've heard good things about Herculiner, it's easy to apply. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to do Raptor liner possibly on top. I need to Raptor line my roof eventually, and I'm going to try to get a red to do that. That's going to be in the future, not necessarily anytime soon. So that's where I'm at right now. The carpeting has all been washed and I've cleaned up the mats. So I had the fan blowing in here all night. I'm going to go ahead and hit this, so either tonight or tomorrow I can get this painted. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not going to film wire wheeling or anything like that. As soon as the silicone dries, I'm going to go ahead and test it while the cowl is open and see if I got any leaks. And then I'm also going to test my rear taillight to make sure there's no leaks back there yet either, before I really start to get into this and then button it up. I want to make sure that all the leaks are taken care of. I do know that I've got a little bit of leaking around the doors, but I'm not worried about that right now. I am eventually going to replace all those seals. All right, so it is the following morning. I tried to get some of this done before it is over 90 today. I've got a nice farmer's tan going from yesterday already. Put more gasket sealer around this. There were a couple of holes after I took the magnet off. So I think this is going to do the trick, but I don't like the idea that it's just hanging freely there. So what I'm going to do is put a screw through the top cover when I put that on, and then also through here, and hold it against the cover, and that way I'll feel better about it. I will have to check on it once or twice a year just to make sure that it's not leaking or that the gasket didn't break anywhere, which should be easy enough to do. No big deal. I also went ahead and put my second coat of Herculiner down here. I left this area bare because that's where my ground is. I didn't want to have to re-sand that. You can see that that area that's not painted never even rusted, because what I do is I put dielectric grease all around that area, and I'll do that again before I put the carpet down. But while I was filming for the other video, the cat got in here and stepped there, and then forever left his mark on my carpet. So the pirate cat is forever emblazoned on my Jeep. Just no big deal. It is what it is. So that's where I'm at today. I really can't do too much inside because I need to wait for everything to dry. Do a water test on the front and rear, see if I have any more leaks, and take care of those. All right, so the girlfriend's spraying the back down really good, and I no longer have a drip up here at the top at all. So that is really good. Checking down here, I can see water rolling in where the handle is, which is to be expected as long as it doesn't come back up through the seal, which it doesn't appear to be. And I am looking at a completely dry seal. I'm sure if she sprayed directly into the seals it would come up, but that doesn't hardly ever happen. I think I took care of the major problem. I'm specifically looking at this area here because that's where I had a lot of water, and I think the whole thing just came down and ended up finding its way here, and that's how I ended up with that much water, and it could have been how I was parked as well. So I'm going to go ahead and gasket seal these holes, since I did realize they're there for that mount that I took out, but I'm going to seal those up since that mount's not going back in. So unless I find a leak, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Well, I found the major leak, and that is not surprising, and it looks like it's coming from under the seal. It's not coming from the corner of the window. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find out if it's leaking on the inside of the seal or the outside, and then see what I can do about that. So I found two issues. One, the seal started to leak around here. I didn't really find water on the inside until it got down here. So I think what's happening is it's getting behind the seal and then dripping down and forming a little river. And then over here, from what I could tell, I just took the panel off because now I got to make sure water was coming out of this hole. And I don't think the access point would have been this light and what's behind it, because it wouldn't have come out a hole this high. It was dripping from down here. Just checked my window. It is not leaking at all. So unless somehow it is leaking behind this panel in between these two channels, I don't know. I am completely lost. I am gonna have my girlfriend spray this again while I'm on the inside, but I am baffled as to how water is getting in up here when the window is not wet at all. So we'll figure it out eventually. Alright, so to fix my seal issue, because I really think it's coming up behind the seal, I don't think, from what I can tell from tracing the water, it wasn't getting between the seal and the door, it was coming up between the back of the seal where all the dirt is. And you can see this is really filthy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out the seal really good. I'm going to clean off this really well. I am going to silicone the entire edge when I put the seal back on and see if that works. If it doesn't, then I've got a seal to door issue. I'll order a new one eventually and just deal with a wet, tight carpet. My main leak is fixed. That was horrible, so I'm glad that that's done. So I'm still trying to find out why the water's coming from somewhere up here and getting here. And you can see, I mean, I just took all this off. That's where, oh, that's not good. I didn't realize I had two holes there for some reason. But anyway, water's not coming out through there or anywhere else. It's coming down this channel and then coming out of that hole from what I could tell. So I had to take off all of these panels, took out my felt from the window. I definitely don't have a leak inside the window at all, so I have to have her spray this down one more time and see if I can't figure this thing out. But that's my next steps.